Okay there. Hello, Gia.
Hi, Keisha. Good evening.
Good evening to you. And as you told me before we began, I think perhaps we
Mhm.
should share with our listeners that you might be a teeny bit drunk. Is that
Little
correct? Is that
tipsy. I'm
accurate?
having. I'm having. I guess I learned the other night that this is known as a lemon drop. Um,
Oh, that sounds lovely.
so I think I'm having. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah. So it's just. I guess it's just a martini with lemon instead of olives. But
Ooh, yeah. I'm a
yeah.
little
So
bit
it's.
jealous, I have to say.
Well, fix yourself a little something, something.
I
Little. Do you have
I
any
could, I
Cosmos
guess.
mixture left? You can get
I
yourself a.
do. Yeah, I could cross the room to my mini fridge and
Yeah, we can. We can
maybe we can play
accommodate you
hold
with that.
music.
Just take your yeah, we're like la 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 la. Um, because
Well,
it
I
has been
feel like
rough on General
I
Hospital
I
lately,
was
and we
gonna
need.
say,
Oh
yeah, I
my
was gonna
God.
say maybe this is why you're turning to the drink is because we're having to cope with a massive loss.
Oh my God. I really. Did you expect that? We talked, and I was like, oh, not looking good. But I really didn't think
Yeah,
they would let Brando
really.
die, and they really
I
did.
know. They really
They
did. When they
really
die in a
did.
hospital bed, it's harder to, have a
Yeah,
person
it's
come
not
back
like just
from that.
disappearing in a river and
Right, on the
yeah,
Pennsylvania side especially.
right. Yeah, no, no, he's like
Yeah.
Gonzville and it
Yeah.
was not sepsis.
Yeah,
Um
right, right. Even though we learned as much as we needed to know about sepsis. Thank
right.
you.
Well,
Thank
and
you
that's
again,
why,
Gia, for that.
the
Mhm.
coughing was not a symptom of
Right,
sepsis
right.
and so
Yeah, I think you
yeah.
did mention that, didn't you, in our last discussion?
I mean, realistically, I mean, that's stupid to say we're talking about a soap opera, but realistically, if
Yeah.
he had been infected with a poison, wouldn't that have been detected much sooner? That, he
Well,
wouldn't have made it through a surgery and, right?
true.
I
Good
don't
point.
know.
And
I don't
I
know.
feel like somehow the blame lies with Portia because I don't have confidence in her as a doctor.
Not anymore.
No, you know what I
No,
mean? Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
know. I know. I don't know. I don't know what to think there. And then and Finn jumping in with it being a possible snake venom or something. I don't know. Was that to like throw some possibility of him being involved? I don't
Well, I
know. I
thought
didn't know what
maybe
to.
that helped maybe make Mason sound like the possible guy if he's from like Paw
Oh,
Tuck and
Mason.
snakes and stuff. But it all
Hmm.
seems so sort of outlandish, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like the show was all over the place today,
I felt like it was
especially.
all over the place. I felt like there was a lot of potential for stuff that
Yeah.
got sort of mishandled. Like I was annoyed
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
the pacing of the Elizabeth storyline. Like that all
Exactly.
seems really weird and rushed.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'm annoyed with what's happening with Lucy.
Yep.
Um, I don't
Yep.
know. I'm just annoyed. Maybe I'm just being too picky with a soap opera.
Well,
But
I was feeling the same way. I think like with the Elizabeth thing, that stretched on for so long, right? This whole like whatever is
yeah,
kind
and
of haunting
exactly.
her.
And
And
suddenly
then
we're going to
all
have
of a
two
sudden,
therapy sessions and solve the whole thing.
and she's like that the one with Kevin where she like forced him basically to cancel his appointment, and
Yeah.
that all
Yeah.
seemed weird too. And then it made me think, well, gosh, is he the one who's like wanted to stab somebody or something, and she, took him out of his rhythm? I don't know. It's just, but
Oh,
I don't think.
what? You mean you thought Kevin might be?
Well, he just was
What?
acting very weird. And I
Oh,
know
little
I
bit,
mean, I'm
yeah.
not saying
Yeah.
that I would think that was a sensible way to go, but the way hospital's been acting lately, it feels like, you can't rule anything out, and that's kind
Yeah,
of.
and how annoying was it the scene they had with Jordan and Anna where Jordan's creeping up on Anna with wearing
That's a good
gloves
idea.
with the hook.
Yep,
Wearing
yep.
gloves.
On a
Like
foggy
I
night
mean,
at the pier.
yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it just the whole thing was such a I don't even know if it was a red herring. I don't know if that qualifies as a red herring or not, but
It
it's
was
like,
like a cheap sort of
yeah,
move
just
to make
shitty
us a little
writing again.
scared,
Just
you know?
shitting writing. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like cheap movie like
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
was just annoyed.
And it felt like everything with like the tone, like it was none of it was like hitting the mark, and I couldn't figure out like did they have a meeting? Did Jordan and Anna have a meeting on the pier? Is that why they were
I don't
there
know. And
together? Or
I find myself wondering about their, like, are they friends and I've forgotten that they're friends?
that's the thing. Yeah, everybody's tone is sort of weird with everybody else. I don't know if they don't have any time to rehearse or they get the script like 5 minutes before they shoot. I don't know. It just feels like, they're not in a groove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they certainly aren't. I mean, there's stuff happening. There's stuff happening. So I give them that. There
Hmm.
is stuff happening.
Right.
But it all
Right.
feels like a cheap, like, teen movie, like teen horror movie
Yeah.
kind of stuff
Yeah.
happening.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Because
I'm
also
I'm
Anna wouldn't have been like hanging out on the pier by herself, would she? At this point, would
No, I don't
anybody be
know.
hanging
I
out
don't
by
know. In
themselves
on a
outside?
foggy night at the pier, I don't know.
Yeah, and then
Mm,
you kind of like you couldn't figure out like everybody seemed to have heard about Brando, but I don't I wanted a more somber tone sort of throughout the
I
town,
was
you know?
so like I couldn't believe they had the scene with Maxie and Lucy
Yeah.
and Brooklyn having a
Mhm.
meeting
Yeah.
when Sasha's like, I mean, like, why aren't they with Sasha? Like, okay, I
Yeah.
get like Lucy just had the scene with her, horrible, horrible, but still,
Mhm.
in spite of that, they should have
Yeah.
been with her. Like, I was like,
You'd
how
think
have they
Lucy
just
would have
left?
felt even more terrible, right? I
Right,
mean,
and they would
that
have
would have
rushed to
yeah.
be with her. Of course,
Yeah.
they would have rushed to
Yeah.
be with her. And instead, they show Lucy being like a jerk with Brooklyn,
Yep.
which
Yep.
felt
Yep.
very forced.
Mhm.
Um, and then,
Yeah.
so we had one day when Brando's dying and we're all like in heartbreak. And then the next
Yep.
day, we have the karaoke audition,
Uh-huh.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was so awkward and weird.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I know Chase
And
has talent, but he seems so stiff, doesn't he?
yeah, I mean he is a talented singer, but that was so weird. Like you bring your mic and your mic stand and you just stand up there
Yeah.
like
And then
karaoke
like
and
yeah,
yeah.
and Selena's like just skulking about like she's responsible for every good thing that's
Yeah,
happening,
and
you know.
Curtis just
Ugh.
still seems like kind of a dickhead and I don't know,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did like the like cousin Lurch over there like watching like
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I like him. Like he's a new character. I like him.
Uh-huh.
Um
He's like Selena's Norman.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like the whole thing was off. Like the heartbreak of losing Brando when I didn't expect it, and
Yeah.
like those scenes were not off. I felt like those were,
Right. Right.
um, and like when they started flashing back on everything Brando had
Mhm.
done, I was like,
Yeah.
ah, rot
Yeah.
row,
I
I was
know.
like,
I
oh
know.
no, that's never a
Yeah.
good sign when they
Right.
do
Yeah.
a retrospective of the
Mhm.
actor's whole time on there, and
Mhm.
but then we just sort of left them and went to these other sort of frivolous things. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't Maxie be like right by Sasha's side?
Yeah.
It's like things just seem off in the writing. I don't
I
know.
agree. And I kind of also wanted Sunny to still be sort of more visibly, bummed
Right.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. A scene I did like. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop being
Okay.
negative now. It could be the
Okay.
drink making me negative. Um,
Okay.
I liked the scene where Sunny and
Mhm.
Alexis
Alexis.
like fumble the
Uh-huh.
whole thing with Christina.
Christina. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was
Especially
great. I was like,
Alexis. Yeah.
but
It,
that
it
was
was
so great. I thought that was great because I felt like my parents did that kind of shit all the time, like where they were so well-meaning, but it came
yeah.
across in some other way, and it just like got
Yeah.
fumbled, and then I was
Mhm.
like, ah, it's like I didn't mean to
Yeah.
say you're wasting your life. I meant, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I felt like Alexis should have been, I don't know. she should be past that sort of stuff now. I would think she'd have more perspective. I mean, she's done time, so who the hell is
That's
she
true.
to
She's
judge
been in the
anybody?
yogurt covered pretzel romper.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
doesn't even
yeah.
have her license anymore, to
That's true.
practice.
She's just being snotty. That's very true.
I mean, it
Um,
just seems like, yeah.
I don't know, but I did kind of like seeing Alexis and Sunny like teamed up as parents
Hmm.
because I kind of
Yeah,
forget that
yeah.
they're her parents.
Right,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, that's true. Hmm.
but anyway, I don't know. I kind of liked it because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I so feel like looking back how my parents fumbled things sometimes with
Hmm.
me, and I
Hmm.
fumbled back, when it was all just
Yeah.
well-meaning
Right,
stuff. But
right. I know. You
uh,
wish you could do. And then that kind of reminds me of Carly's scene, which is going back a few
oh
days
yeah,
to when she
let's
was
talk
at the
about what the
cemetery.
fuck's happening with Carly. What I thought we had. Okay, there was a moment where she's at the
Yeah. And
cemetery
she like walks through a tree and then she's
and
in
she
the bar.
walks and she's in the bar. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we're having a dream sequence. So there's
Right,
been a
right.
plane crash and we're having a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And but then
But then she
today,
gets her phone. Yeah.
yeah. And everything's like back to like real time and she
Uh-huh.
actually speaks to Sunny and so it's
Yeah.
like seriously you walk out of the bar at the hotel bar and that like door opens onto this cemetery.
Yeah.
I don't
Uh-huh.
know. Like that seems so deliberate,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Well, it seems like, yeah, it would have been easy to not film it that way if it
Right.
wasn't a dream
Right. So
sequence,
that's why I thought, okay, that's a big hint that she's been in a
Yeah.
plane crash, she's in
Yeah.
the hospital, and this is all a big dream.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
today's conversation with Sunny seemed very real.
It did. Yes, it did. And
So do
I
we just
it
have
was
like the B team doing the writing right now or something? Or
Yeah, I think so, Gia. And
Hmm,
I hate to completely knock the writing because I know it's difficult,
it is hard, sure.
yeah, it's just a shame, when you have all of this like really potentially powerful stuff, and they've created this scene for Carly where they could do something, sort of interesting and original, and then it
Yeah.
just seems
Like
like they're not
I'm
capitalizing on all of these things.
right. Like I'm down with this being a dream sequence. Like let it
Yeah.
be like a
Hmm.
huge like find yourself, dig into your identity kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Although I
And
also
that would
kind of, sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to say that would explain like the bad acting of that whoever that woman is that's
Yeah.
um
Like
they
really,
must have paid
yeah.
a great deal of money to have her be on or something to have
So
her keep
she's,
coming.
yeah, so she's
Yeah.
throwing in the accent, like just as a
Oh
sign of
my god, it's
appreciation. It's
worse and
so,
worse.
I
Yeah.
know it's way too much, but I was thinking that like when Carly was having the conversation with her mom sort of at the cemetery, and really like kind of having her eyes open, like kind of like what you were saying about
Yep.
you and your parents and stuff, I
Yeah.
thought it would be really cool if like this new Carly, like if that wasn't a dream and she was realizing kind of like what's important and stuff, that she could really go back to Port Charles like a completely new version of
New
herself,
person. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then and maybe even like look at Drew and like you're just a clown, you know,
That
put
would
your
be cool, but
bathing suit
I don't
on
think
and
that's
just
going to
head over to the.
happen.
I know, just it would have been interesting if she could have come back as somebody, you know, who wanted to do
Yeah.
something completely different with her life,
Yeah. I liked the conversation with her mom
Mhm.
at the cemetery too because like
Mhm.
that's the kind of like stuff like that, I wish I could say to my
Yeah,
mother too, and
exactly. Yeah.
it's interesting though when I think about like Carly and Joss, like I don't think they
Mhm.
have that baggage. Like I feel like
Right.
are there mothers and daughters that don't have that baggage? Like I know they're
Mm.
like fictional, like do you know
Yeah.
anybody in real life, mothers and daughters that don't have that kind of baggage? It's such
Mm.
a hard relationship, I
It
think.
is. And partly because for a long time you really kind of want to believe that your mother doesn't have like a whole life, with her own problems and stuff like that,
I never even considered it. I just didn't like because I'm such a selfish wench. Like, I just never
Well,
occurred to me that she
I
would. I
know.
don't
I
know.
think
It
our
only occurred
moms
to me
were,
later.
yeah,
But
our moms were really good at letting us be selfish, I think.
I think they were. Mine should have taken me by the like
Yeah.
collar and tossed me up against a wall or something. Like
Yeah. I
I don't
know.
know. But
Yeah.
I mean, I do hope that in the modern world, maybe there are mothers and daughters that don't have that kind of baggage or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, Joss seems to see sort of the whole Carly.
she does. That's what I mean. They seem
Yeah.
great together. It's like that's why I wonder,
Mhm.
is that for real? Can that happen? Really?
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. You're a mother with a daughter. Does that happen?
I'm so nothing but
And she
regrets
starts
here,
laughing.
Gia. Nothing but serious regrets around the
Oh,
clock.
round the clock regrets. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
different circumstances, but
yeah.
I don't know. Mothers and daughters, and then like fathers and daughters, that's a whole different ball of wax. It's
I think that's such a rare relationship, at least in my experience, to see like a relationship where a daughter and her father really sort of are open and close to each other. At least in our
yeah.
generation. Yeah. I mean, you're
Uh
lucky. I think you and your dad have a pretty good relationship.
well, we do, but it's the kind of thing where we will like say shit to each other like like I mean
Yeah.
in recent years we will say shit to each other that's like it's like I don't know, we give it back to each other. I don't know
Mhm.
what.
Mhm. Yeah, and I
May
think that takes a real effort on your part, especially because it seems like it
Oh,
would
he
be
just
just a
pisses me off so much sometimes that I
but you could just kind of like turn the volume down, like sort of not really listen, tune him out,
mm,
and not like try to spend time with him, but you really do. So, hats off to you, Gia.
well, thanks. Yeah. Well, the bond is unbreakable. I mean, this sounds kind of new. Ooh, hello. I
Mhm.
tried to. It's a little new agey, but I try to view things through a lens of what's happening to his brain
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this point in the aging
right.
process, and what's
Uh-huh.
happening to my brain, and take all that
Yep.
into account. Um,
Mhm.
and just sort of take the good with the bad or whatever. But
Well,
yeah, I
that's
do feel
pretty adult. That's pretty mature of you, I would say.
well. Uh, because in recent times, and maybe partly the pandemic and politics and all
Mhm.
that shit, there's been some real
Yeah.
testing of the bonds, and some real
Uh-huh.
like screaming at each other over the phone over the years
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Um, over
Mhm.
stuff like I want you to stay alive, so don't do that stupid shit. Like
Uh-huh.
which is so like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a weird thing. Like I love you so much. Don't be so stupid. Like that
You
kind of
fucking asshole.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but I do feel like we have a slightly different relationship than my brothers probably have with him.
Mhm.
Um, and then vice versa. Like my brothers had a different relationship with my
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was thinking
Um,
today just it was a weird like tiny thought like with my family like my brothers were sort of responsible for taking out the garbage and mowing the lawn and stuff like that, and I was
yep.
completely off the hook for that stuff. you know
Sure. Yeah, but you
which
had girl stuff you had to do, right?
can you see me doing
Did
any
you have to
girl stuff?
Did you have to set the table? Didn't you have to set the table and clear the table?
No,
Like I was
no.
so pissed. I was like, why do like yeah, we had very divided stuff and I was just
Uh-huh.
pissed about it.
Yeah. Well, we had
Yeah.
divided stuff, but I was thinking today that some of those things, like boys, can sort of turn that into like a job, like mowing lawns for neighbors and stuff like that. So they're sort of like
Yeah.
making money, or they have an avenue to make I guess girls could babysit, but it seems like in a way boys are
Yep.
more set up, for being like a breadwinner.
Entrepreneurs, and yeah, and girls are
Yeah.
set up to be wives. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But maybe
But
it's all different now. We're pretty old.
we're super old.
We're
We're super
super
old.
old.
Yeah.
Super old.
And
Yeah.
cranky apparently. At
I'm
least when it
mildly
comes to hospital.
mildly drunk, but I don't know what your problem is, but
Yeah, I don't know
mm.
either, Gia. I'm coming down from I had a piece of cake earlier and
Oh, cake. What kind of cake was it?
well, it's a red velvet cake that I made for my
Oh,
brother.
baby.
My brother Clay is up here
Charlie?
visiting. Clay.
Clay.
Clay. He
Okay.
likes red velvet cake, but I
Nice.
don't
Who
know if he's
doesn't?
I don't know if he's going to come over and get it, so I might just
You've
have it.
already eaten it?
No, I made a small one for me and then like a
Oh,
bigger one for him. I'm no
that's
fool.
funny. I know. Well, I hope he comes over. Is he alone? Or does he have the wife?
He's alone. He's alone.
He's alone.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Oh gosh. We're
Oh,
totally off topic now.
oh, sorry. Okay. General
That's
Hospital.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Brando, that was heartbreaking. That was
that was
heartbreaking.
and like we said last time, I like they did such a good job of making it so clear that Sasha and Gladys loved Brando more than just about anybody in the world, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't even know
Yeah.
another character where they've done that.
Yeah, and it was just awful. Oh my God, it was awful.
Yeah, and I still feel like Portia kind of fumbled there, but they like you
Well,
said, the
um,
poison thing should have been evident. That should have triggered some sort of
should have been
response
evident from the
immediately.
get-go. I guess I don't
Yeah,
know much about poison, but wouldn't that have been a factor in his when
yeah,
right when he came in, not just the damage to the lung from the piercing
yeah,
of the hook or
yeah.
something, but I
Uh
don't
huh.
know. What do I know?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to be true to life.
No, they don't. They don't. But
But yeah, that was
anyway,
rough, and I was a little shocked. Oh,
yeah.
okay, shift to a different storyline. Elizabeth and
Mm-hmm.
Kevin and
Yeah.
Finn, and
Ugh.
so now she's
Yeah.
sketching a picture. Are we
Ugh.
supposed to believe that's Finn's wife that died? That is
Yeah.
that who we're supposed to think that is?
I think
Like,
so.
how would that make any sense on any planet?
I know. I think maybe they're trying to get us so like messed up in our heads that we don't really like break down any of these flaws in any of the storylines. We'll just be so fixated on like how to unravel that, you know. But I can't
Also, I
didn't
was
his wife die of some disease that he couldn't cure?
Yeah, yeah. And how would
And
that be in any way in Elizabeth's head? I don't
mhm.
know. Like, did that make any sense? I don't know.
No, no, unless
And
there's a
what was up with her
twin.
having that like weird, um, like belt of like drawing utensils? Like that was weird too.
I, I know.
You
I
and I
don't.
took lots of art classes.
We
We
did.
never
We
had a
didn't have
little
any
belt like
belt
that.
full of charcoal and
No,
stuff.
I mean
Yeah.
we were mostly painting sort of people, but
Yeah. Hmm.
I took a lot of drawing previous to meeting you. I
Mhm.
took a
Me
lot of
too. And
drawing
I
stuff.
don't think I never had a belt for my
Yeah,
pencils. Maybe
I
that's
really
why we
didn't.
didn't become proper artists because we didn't
I'd
have a
like to
belt.
go back to drawing. I really
I
enjoyed
would
drawing. I
too.
did some drawing during the pandemic. There was like a,
Mhm.
do you remember that? I was doing like a
Your
live, some sort
ponies?
of, well, I drew a lot of ponies. It was like a library program
Oh
where they
yeah,
were like
yeah, yeah. The
prompting.
Brooklyn
They give you a
uh-huh.
prompt. Yeah, the Brooklyn.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was cool. They
Mhm.
should
Yeah,
keep
that's a
that
fun idea.
going.
Yeah.
I
I
I
was
fell behind, but I made a few friends online just from
Oh, that's
that.
cute. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was thinking when Elizabeth started drawing, I thought that would be nice if they had really like if they really acknowledged all the facets of these characters that they create.
Right, because she was an artist long
Yeah, and it would
ago.
have been that would have been an interesting aspect of her personality if somehow she'd
Right.
had a hand in that, all along.
I'm worried about her in real life. Like her face looked
Mhm.
so drawn
Yeah.
and um, just kind of skinny and emaciated, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Yeah,
I
she's certainly tiny, and
she's tiny.
her hair just doesn't move. It's
Yeah, her
weird.
hair is stiff. It was a little better today, but still kind of weird looking. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, that storyline made no sense with that
Right.
drawing and that woman,
Right.
and I don't know.
Yeah. Is Finn gonna see this pad of paper with his wife's picture on it? And
Right. And it's
you
all
know,
tied to Finn, like speaking about poison to Jordan.
yeah.
I don't know.
So
It was all weird.
maybe we're gonna be led to like some other fact about how his wife died. Maybe it wasn't what he said.
Hmm.
Right? That is that the only person who's told us how she died? He's really the only one who would know, right?
I think so. I can't remember far back enough to his, and coming on the show.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think they were like he and his wife were in some exotic location
right,
away from
right.
his
Yeah.
family and stuff, so
Yeah.
they wouldn't know necessarily. But that means they'd be painting him as some sinister guy, and is that
Yeah, that doesn't make
what we
sense,
want?
really.
You know,
No. We don't want that. We
I
don't
don't want
want
that.
that. I don't know what
No.
I want. I want better though. I don't know.
Yeah, because even like Finn, he hasn't really seemed like much of a. Uh, he hasn't seemed himself either lately.
No.
You
I mean,
know.
I thought the show did. I mean, I'm sorry they killed off Brando, but I thought they did a good job with the sort of heartbreak of that, and
Mhm.
Sasha
Mhm.
and Gladys breaking down. All that was very
Mhm.
believable and
Mhm.
well done.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't like how they simply jumped to other shit the next day.
Yeah, I know.
Um, and I felt like the characters that I thought would be with
Mhm.
Sasha and Gladys comforting them
Yep.
were
Yep.
not. And
Yep.
like, where are they? Where are they? And who's with them?
Right.
Nobody.
And
No.
right, right. And even if they couldn't somehow get to them, maybe let's say Sasha didn't want to see anybody, that would still be the only thing that Maxie and Lucy and Brooklyn would
Right.
be
They wouldn't be
talking
having a
about,
meeting. Yeah.
you
Or
know.
they'd be showing them calling and leaving messages or
Mhm.
texting or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they made a little lip service to like, oh, Maxie's going to be planning the funeral now, which I also thought was a little bit like, really? Would they instantly be assuming that Maxie would plan that? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just thought, who's writing this whole thing? It's not
Yeah.
working. It's
And
not
even
working,
like
people.
when Chase came up to Finn at the hospital, it seemed like he was
He was
sort of
being weird
loud,
and
you know?
accusatory and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, yeah,
And then Finn saying you're not a
aggressive,
cop
sort of
anymore. It
aggressive.
was like, yeah, what's
Yeah,
happening with all of
yeah,
these
it was
people?
weird. Yeah, they were not hitting the right note with anybody.
No,
So
no.
come on, hospital, get it together.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Ay, sheesh. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know
Um.
what she
All right. And we haven't talked about fashion at all. Do you have any fashion notes? That's totally
Wasn't
frivolous.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't crazy about Carly's dress today. That was sort of a weird print.
Oh, I
Did
like
you
that it
like
was.
that?
Well, I like that it had like a different ruffle and a different. Like I like that it was shorter. Usually
Yeah, the
she's
whole
swapped
like
in so much
I think it was
cloth.
more the pattern that I didn't like so much
Oh, okay. All
than
right.
the design of the dress.
Okay. Did you like
And
the Miss whatever her name is? Did you like her sparkly jacket?
I'm gonna have
I've
to
had
ask
a
you
bit of
not
a
to
lemon
do
drop. It's a
that.
terrible accent, just awful.
It is. It
Um,
really is terrible. Yeah, I guess she was dressed the way somebody like her should be dressed.
I guess so. I
Mm,
thought the
yeah,
sparkly was a little bit much,
yeah.
but
And I hesitate to bring up this character, but when
uh-oh.
Drew came into, was it Charlie's? Did he go into Charlie's? Is that
Yeah,
where he ran
Charlie. So he
into
ran into Nina
Nina
and
and
Sonny.
Sonny?
Yeah.
His
What
hair
was he
seemed to be
wearing?
sticking up straighter than like it was
I didn't
weird.
notice, but okay.
I was like, yeah, I was like going straight up in the air. But
Mm.
I thought it was interesting that Carly didn't pick up his call, but then she did call Sonny back.
Yeah, and it was nice that she and Sonny had like a civil conversation, and
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Mhm.
so they still were able to kind of pull together for a dangerous moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sonny telling her not to come home. I mean, I guess I get it. If he thinks really that people around him are the targets.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that made sense. And also,
Yeah.
she's got to finish that storyline
Although
with the
I must
cemetery and
well, I thought that was it was kind of a bummer that like she's, this is going to be her crusade, not to get her it just seemed like seriously, I don't know if that's like
yeah, it's a
the
little
most
weird.
important thing in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Just to get revenge on that woman, basically, is
Yeah,
really
it seemed
more
like
what it.
that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
seemed like, well, now she hasn't made any progress at all if that's who she's going to
Not if
be,
that's right, if that's what
you
she's all
know.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been, I don't know, more soul searching about what happened to her as a 16-year-old, or I
Mhm.
don't know. I mean, she does have quite a backstory,
She does.
um,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
already know.
Mhm.
Um, so it would have been interesting to see scenes of that.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe that would have been cheesy to show some other
Well, it's a fine
young
line.
Carly.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
but I don't know. I think I would have liked it better if it had been a dream sequence. I think.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, wow, if that could be a dream sequence, then maybe the whole Brando dying could be part of a dream sequence, but I
No,
know that's
then
not
we'd
the
be back
case.
to Dallas. It was all
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
dream. Were
I
you a
know.
Dallas fan back in the day?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a
No.
nighttime soap
What the hell were
person.
you
No.
doing
I was a
with your life?
sitcom girl. I like the sitcoms. I like a medical drama,
You didn't watch
occasional cop
Dallas?
show. No.
Oh,
No.
wow. Not even the JR stuff? Like, that's unbelievable
No.
to me. Wow.
It all
I
seemed
so watched every Dallas.
that
All
was
right.
also sort of heightened and dramatic. I mean, I know
Sure.
daytime soap operas are too, but it seemed like that was like too hard for me to buy into.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
even know like what you would have watched if you weren't watching Dallas, because the whole
Instead,
country was watching. What?
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I'd have to look up the years and stuff. I don't remember, but
Yeah. 70s, like late 70s, maybe early.
mhm.
No, late 70s. Well, maybe early 80s too, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know, Gia. I believe me, I was watching TV.
I know. That's why I have a hard time believing you weren't
Yeah,
watching TV. So, what were you watching? That's the
yeah.
question. What about
Whatever
Love Boat?
sitcoms. Yeah,
Love
I did
Boat,
watch Love
Fantasy
Boat.
Island?
I Fantasy Island made me very uncomfortable. I just I thought, why do their fantasies always have to take a turn?
Well,
Why
they
couldn't
were
it just
always
be
very
lovely?
didactic. They always taught a lesson. Yeah. They
Yeah,
got
yeah,
dark. They got a little dark. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So anyway,
Mm.
but
Okay, well, that was just a little trip down memory lane.
yeah,
Memory lane there.
yeah.
Um, well, Hospital, I want you to do a little better. You've got some good material. You've got some great
Hmm.
actors.
Yep,
Um,
yep. Very good characters that I mean they take so much time,
yeah,
building up all these characters and then they don't really like respect them enough to stay true to them.
I know. I watched, and now I know you're not a Dex fan. Dex,
Dex.
Dex. Yeah, sorry, lemon drop talking. Uh, it's Dex, right? Yeah,
It
Dex.
is Dex, yes.
So I watched a little bit of State of Mind with Sonny and Dex,
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Maurice, and I can't think of his real name.
Yeah,
Anyway,
can't either.
um,
Mhm.
I'm just always so like impressed with how dedicated these people are to their craft. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this actor was talking about, he was being very gracious and like thankful about, he came in and his first scenes were with Sonny, and he was talking
Uh-huh.
about how Sonny kind of was took him under his wing a little bit, and
Mhm.
really like made him comfortable,
Uh-huh.
and they're really, this is not like, they're not like blowing this off like, oh, it's just a soap
Right.
opera. They're like,
Right,
this
right.
is their
Yeah.
craft, and they're
Yeah.
really into it, and
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm impressed with that, and
Yeah. Yeah, I
so
agree.
I'm a little more in love with Dex now.
Oh, great. Great, Gia. You were
Hmm.
already kinda hopeless. I mean,
I know,
yeah.
but he seems like a nice kid.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. And I must say, I mean, even like Brando, I wasn't a huge fan of Brando's ever. It took a long time for me to acknowledge that he was a good guy. But it was mostly that, that Sasha and Gladys and Sonny, they all like cared about him so much that I started to care about him.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh my God, the heartbreak of that, like
Yeah.
those two women, like what the hell is gonna happen there?
Well, and it's
Well,
kind of like with Elizabeth, you hope that they'll do Sasha justice and give her like some good scenes and like sort of let it draw out a little bit instead of like wrapping it up.
I think the classic soap opera thing would be to have her be pregnant,
Yeah, yeah.
which I don't know if I want. I don't think I want them to do that just because it would be so,
No.
I don't know,
Yeah, I don't think I'd want that either. I mean,
overdone. I'd like to see her like tough it out and see what happens with this and
mhm,
be a strong person. Oh, I know we're probably pretty close to being done here, but I do want
mhm.
to say that I am pissed off about the Lucy Victor
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Like just the fact that he's basically abducted her.
He's abducted her, and once again, like, what was the implication when they said, well, we all know Lucy's weakness, and then they show Victor giving her a
Giving her a
diamond
break.
bracelet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
like, once again, is it just, oh, she's so shallow and she'll be, like,
Mhm.
overwhelmed with,
Mhm.
baubles?
Right, right, right.
And
Yeah.
yet again, a woman needs to be rescued. Like, I don't mean to get off on my feminist high horse again, but it's like, really? Like, couldn't we have a storyline where Lucy outsmarts Uncle Victor?
Yeah, it seems like she's capable of it. I do
Yeah,
yeah, it does make me uneasy that that it happened at all, that he got her on a boat. That's like
yeah,
that's kind of unacceptable. If there's no way that she can leave if she wants to, that's just
right. I
obviously
just think
wrong.
I would love to see the tables be turned and have her outsmart him somehow,
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
need to be rescued by Valentine and
Well,
Anna.
and
And
when you see Valentine and Anna, like, climbing over the
oh,
it's like,
they're
"Oh, no."
useless.
I started to think, "Oh my god, Lucy's in real trouble now," you
Yeah,
know?
and they're like, "Oh, we hear somebody," and then they clatter away like a herd of ponies or something,
Like they're
I
wearing
was like, "Oh,
tap
nobody'll hear
shoes or
you."
something.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh my god." I mean, remember how useless they were with Peter? They were
Oh,
totally
they
useless.
suck. They're even less effective together than they are
Yeah,
separately,
they're awful. They're the worst
Yeah.
spies in the world,
I
but
mean, and what are they gonna do? I mean,
I don't
because
know, but
like,
I just like I'm resentful that they show
yeah,
Lucy in need of being rescued. I
yeah.
like she's a strong character
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
should show her like I don't know, tossing
Kicking
him
ass.
overboard or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Like
she's pretty scrappy.
yeah, yeah. And so
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just
I
annoyed
know.
by that whole
And I
thing.
was feeling like I was kinda glad to see Valentine, because he's one of the people we don't really see often
Right,
enough, I
right.
don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, yeah, it felt like we just sorta got teased with
Yeah, I felt
some
like things were off for the past few days. So I don't know who's
yeah.
writing right now, but straighten up, people. God.
Yeah, or just let us have a look at the scripts, just give us an hour with
Just
a script,
yeah. Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's all it would take. We'll sober up. We'll set things right.
We'll get our belt of pencils out and we'll just make
Yeah,
some
we'll
marks,
do some
that you can,
sketches. Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
some
All
minor
right.
adjustments, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but we appreciate you listening. If you're frustrated, we hear you.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
I'm kind of bracing myself for like how they're gonna handle the Sasha Gladys stuff now.
I
I
know.
mean,
I know.
maybe we'll get a lovely funeral. I don't know, but I feel like that's not necessarily what I want this time. Like that's what we
No,
had with Mike, and that was so good. I think they did such a good job with
yeah, they
that.
did do a nice job of that. Yeah, yeah.
But this is
What we
different because
want to
this is
know is what's going to happen to Sasha. What's going to happen with
yeah,
Sasha? How is she going to
yeah,
handle this?
yeah. Where
Um,
is she gonna find
yeah,
strength?
yep,
Right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't want her to disappear as a character. Like, was that her storyline and now she's done? I hope not.
Right. I don't
You know,
know. I don't know,
I don't
Gia.
know. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
anywho, well, I guess
Anywho,
we talked it out, people.
I guess
Thanks for
so.
listening. If you're still with
Yeah.
us,
Yeah. Thank you
and
so much. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
All right, Gia. Well, I hope
you're
you're
the
not
wind
hungover
beneath our
tomorrow.
wings. Oh no, I'll
No.
be fine.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk in a few days. We'll see how it goes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Best to Rory.
Okay. I'll tell him. All right.
Okay. All right, dear. You take
And
care.
hang in there and keep watching.
Yep. Yep. And don't go on alone. You know.
No, no, you neither.
Okay. All right. Bye,
Okay.
Gia.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.